Alright, so what am I doing? Well, right now I'm kind of issuing a sort of public recall kind of thing where I just released a video about chest locking quirkiness with solid blocks where I found out that there was a sorter in our sorting system that won't work due to the fact that these chests have blocks on top of them, and the block blocking the chest is not directly above the hopper. Which all this will mean, at least for the world or the sorting system, is these top sorters up at the top here, no, the top of the top, they will have one half chest, so one normal sized chest, less storage than all of the others. But that shouldn't be too much of a problem. It's really not that much storage. And on top of that, it should actually reduce the lag in here because there will be less chests. So I don't really see it as a problem, especially because, and here's the kicker, if we really do need more storage, we could just put them sideways and then alternate these between chests and normal chests. So we can have the exact same amount of storage, but by default they will have essentially 27 stacks less. So that's just kind of what's going on. I just ripped out the last of these chests, and I got to get some of this obsidian out of here as well, so it wasn't really too bad. A little bit tedious, but I don't know. I'm kind of proud of myself, because lately I would have just asked somebody else to do it, but no. I did it this time. But on a second note, up here is a gigantic gaping hole in the roof of this thing. So this is a perfect example of something that will not be there when this series is over. But as of now, I have other things to do. Whoa! I got a system done. So as I recently discovered with the chests being locked by blocks on top, I've moved them out all one block, just extending it with a hopper. Isn't really a problem. One thing I will have to consider are the comparators like this. This is reading the very last hopper in this chain, but since I might change the input of the items to right there instead of over there, that could mess up some of the wiring. Also, it would be really nice to have this be the same amount of storage as the other chests, the other dispenser droppers. I could just add another chest maybe, but that would be a last resort, so I'll see what I can do. But yeah, as for the crafting system, it is built. It's not done because these wires aren't connected. I mean, that would just be a quick circuit, but yeah, it is built up, and I now know that with this sorter here, I'm thinking the input for the items will come in from over there, because we'll come in from over there and come over here instead of going over here, because this is going to be the only high thing up here. So I'll just connect these with some kind of circuit, but it'll just run through there, maybe loop around this, and then it'll work its way over here. I'm still not sure the best way to do that, but I'll figure it out. So this is kind of messy. uh, yeah, I don't really know of a better way to do this, but it looks like the items are gonna drop straight down from here. And then I'll just probably bring it over around here. Yeah. So here's a bit of a crazy idea. I've routed the item stream to come in, take a quick bend here, get aligned by the dragon eggs. So that'll go right over the spider eye and bottle storage or whatever I'm putting over here. And then it can actually go, and this is what I'm thinking that's a little bit nuts, is it'll go around here, and then it'll sort through the gunpowder and sand, and then that track would actually connect down here. So it'll come off to the side, get aligned by more dragon eggs, and then it'll go over the redstone storage, and then that can loop around, maybe, I don't know, through here somewhere, I don't know. And then it can actually go into the bottom layer. So in that way it'd just be one continuous loop, just using gravity to guide it. And then when it gets to the end here, it'll just bring it up an elevator and do the same thing on the other side. I think that could actually really work. I'm gonna give it a shot. You know, every once in a while in life, we're faced with an immense challenge, an immense, difficult set of difficulties. And in this case, I have a torch in the way of where I need to put some ice. You see, it's got to loop around, but this isn't going to work. Now, might I just suggest that perhaps we move the torch over a block? No, not like that. And then we place the torch on the side of the block instead. And then place the block on top of that. and I can consider this challenge faced. The water stream is actually going pretty well. Got to be a little bit creative over here, but I think it's gonna work. Had to move some wiring around. But now it's kind of like it's literally just plugging it in, because this whole thing, if you've noticed, has been completely set up for this the entire time. So now I just need to find a place for the water to go and put it in. Now, the only thing that I don't really love about this is it's gonna have to double back. So it's gonna have to come all the way around and then, come all the way around back over here. Um, of course, a huge concern is are the items despawning. So I haven't actually tested how long it will take for all of the items to go through the entire system. I can't imagine it would be that long. I'm going to reference our old world again because I do that all the time, but I think the time the items needed was like 2 minutes flat, which was perfect. Nothing ever despawned. But of course, I don't know how that's going to work out with the witch huts. Probably won't be that bad, but it is a concern that I keep in mind. So at some point, in a worst case scenario, if items are despawning, I'll put it into one of my one input 64 or 32 outputs or something crazy like that. I don't think it should be that overkill because the witch farms aren't even going to be faster than 4 hoppers, but I would do something like that where it'll pick up the items and then spit them back out, thus resetting their despawn timer. But like I said, that would be a last resort and only if there were no other solutions. And then I gotta put in storage for these shulker boxes. I was going to sync this up with like some kind of retrieval system, but I really don't think that'll be necessary, but I don't know, that's just kind of off the top of my head. I'm gonna get back to it. I admit it, okay, I'm a fraud. I'm, well, doing this the hard way because I don't want to do it the harder way. So I'm just having it loop all the way back around, even though this is gonna add like, I don't know, 3 or 4 more seconds to the total time. You gotta think about that. I'm pretty sure water moves items like over ice at like 8 meters a second, so to add this entire extra bit will add like 2 seconds to the total time. It shouldn't be a big deal, and it'll also mean I won't have to redo any wiring. So it's convenient, and I'm gonna take the easy route. And we're back! So what's new in the last split second that you just saw me record, the last thing that was like an hour or two ago? So I brought this ice stream all around. Let's head back to the beginning here. When the items get all the way to the end here, they'll make their way into this elevator, and then they'll go up, and they'll get pushed up. And then the items will flow along. They'll hit that because it needs to be there for decoration reasons, get all aligned. Then it'll go into the sorter. The redstone will get caught because there's nothing programmed in it, so I'm just going to grab that. And then they'll hop down, go into the furnace array, which I think this is going to work out really nicely. So the items, I actually had to reroute this comparator, which doesn't really matter too much, but had to redo a little bit of wiring. That's just to make all these hoppers synchronized to this one sorter right here. And then the items will just come here, do a quick loop, and then go straight into that thing. So after that, that should be all the witch loot done. In fact, there should be no bottlenecks here, seeing as like all of the elevator, see what I did there? All of the elevator can handle infinite amounts of items, and from there we're just using gravity, so there aren't any other throttles in the system like the dropper elevators below. But after all of this, it'll just go over the bulk storage, and then that'll be it. So as for, let's see, these spots right here, down here is a hopper, and there's another one on the exact other side. These are for glowstone and redstone blocks that have been crafted by the player, so that'll have a completely separate input that's not even a part of the item stream. But this whole thing is just about watered up, and it's going pretty well. So as soon as I'm done with this, I am going to eagerly hook up all of the witch huts. In fact, let's do a quick flyby. I'm not entirely sure if they got all of the huts swapped out, so that's got ice in it. This one seems to have ice in it. And I'm just gonna kind of look below, see if all the clocks are in place. Looks like, okay, this is what I was talking about. They broke the bedrock to the shape of the clock, and I think that looks really nice. Let's fly off. And this last one, it seems like they got all of the different killing floors in place. If you are new to my channel, or this is the first video you're seeing, the killing floor that we've gone with is actually a slab of ice on a clock, where the same clock that triggers the ice actually kills the witches, and then they never sync up so that the water is flowing while the witches are being killed. So every once in a while, I'm just going to wait a second for it to go again. the signal will go up, and then I believe it's every fourth time the water will actually get triggered. So in this way we don't use any hoppers, and there you go, it triggers it. Nothing. Oh, there we go. Okay, it wasn't rendering. There's not going to be anything because it's nighttime and stuff. So, and I'm on the edge of the perimeter, so I wouldn't expect any spawns inside of it. But yeah, this thing works pretty nicely, and I think it's a great little unique solution. Like, it's not the perfect killing floor. Well, I mean, it kind of is, seeing as it's almost entirely legless, but yeah, so all of that loot is going straight to the middle of the perimeter, not even being collected right now. In fact, it's just kind of going into this lava right here, unless a zombie picks it up, in which case it doesn't go anywhere, the zombie just sits there and never dies. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take this ice stream, I'm going to probably just put an elevator right here, seeing as I really cannot be bothered to break any bedrock. And then I'll bring it into the input. So that's the whole wing dedicated to witch loot storage. So I'm going to go up to the elevator right there. That's the one we're using. And then that'll connect throughout the whole system. So that's what I meant earlier by we're just literally going to plug in the witch loot. Oh, here comes a whole lot of it. And it's going to go straight into the system. And then we'll be collecting it, which I say excitedly because then we can craft the glowstone and the redstone. We'll be saving all the gunpowder, which will be going into the crafting system. The sugar and bottles and spider eyes are less exciting, but the sticks will provide infinite fuel, so we can actually use the furnace array as well. I don't know how to get up here. Okay, alright, that works for... I'll figure it out. But yeah, after all of that, it'll be really nice. So, lastly, I just want to mention that the only thing left to do would be to put in all the filters for all of these sorters, because every single input for items in this entire system needs to have a filter on it, because every item in the game will be flowing along these ice streams. So, to be 100% sure that there's no overlap, I need to make sure that every item going into this thing is going where it should be. But that should be pretty simple. Also, I kind of want to mention that I am absolutely taking no measures to make this look good at all. You can see the multicolored look I'm going for here. Because none of this should or will ever be seen by anybody who's not trying to see it, I really don't think it's necessary to actually make any extra strides to make this look good. This is all going to be in the background, so it shouldn't make any difference, as long as it's functional. That's all that I care about. Let's do a little bit of testing. So I messed up this elevator over at the sorting system, and I put the piston in the wrong place, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. So I want to come here to test it. Oh, it's going to go straight up. Oh, okay. I want to test it. So I thought, well, where do we have this elevator built on the world? That's also really not that important that it remain working. So I came to the iron farm, and I'm going to see how it works. Block. Alright. So now we got plenty of items coming in. I'm going to move this piston over one block and see if it works the same. And that's it. Now I just got to put blocks on either side. It broke immediately. So that kind of tells me something. Alright, I'll go fix it over there. Shit. Although on a side note, I am kind of glad that this messed up right away, because I really wasn't eager to fish this stained glass out of the system. Not gonna lie. Well, I hope you enjoyed testing with MrBeast. If it's been as enjoyable if it's been as enjoyable for you as it has been for me, leave a like and write so in your description on your Facebook profile picture. I'm going to continue playing Minecraft. As an added side note, I don't really claim to be an expert or nothing, but this seems to be running a lot faster than 192 villages. Maybe it's running... My soup is ready. Maybe it's never been running at 192 villages, and for the very first time, I am seeing a farm running at 192 villages. Either way, it should be about 8,000 iron an hour. Also, this isn't filtered, so somebody someday is going to have not one, but two oak planks to deal with, and it's not going to be me. So I'm working along here, made this ice stream, fixed the other elevator, moved the piston back a block. You can see this one. The pistons need to be on either side. I'll put a link in the description to the tutorial for this item elevator. Comes highly recommended by me and the other Minerva members. It is, in my opinion, the single greatest 1.1011 plus elevator because it's pretty much flawless. That being said, I set it up and then I made this little ice stream before realizing in a good amount of time that this is for empty shulker boxes. So this is its own separate ice stream. I'm going to leave that alone for now. Of course, in the future we'll have some sort of reservoir for empty boxes. For now, though, I bumped it up, and I gotta admit, this is a really nice place to work because the sorting system storage room area has this nice open space right underneath the top roof. So you got all this open empty space down here. That's redundant, but it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of a nice scenery to work. You got this wood thing on the side. It makes me think of like the interior walls in like kind of a resort where there's like a pool area. I mean, that's just a personal thing. I don't know how I could express that kind of emotion to you, but I don't know. Anyway, this is where the item filters are going to go for all of the different bulk items. Let's break in here real quick and then show you what I'm talking about. So this is where the bulk storage is, in case you were disoriented. So, yes, we have redstone blocks bulk storage here and over here. Probably not necessary because we did the math a long time ago. And to have a single double chest of redstone blocks, 100,000 items, is something like 100 days of AFK. So to fill up what I've wanted to do, which is this entire wall was chests I had in the original layout of this thing, and that was over 9 million blocks. That would have taken over 22 years of AFK at the witch farm. So we scaled it down. Alright, so I don't usually like doing this, but this episode is about 34 minutes in length, and that's an extremely long time for me at least. So typically when an episode gets really, really close to 30 minutes or far beyond that, I'm going to start splitting these into two parts. That's kind of because I have school and I'm busy and I'm tired, and you wouldn't be getting an upload in 2 days anyway, probably because I'm just busy. So I'm going to stretch this out over 2 days. I hope you're not mad, but part two will be coming tomorrow, so don't worry, it's already done.